It's not about how much money you make, but rather how you manage it. Irrespective of whether you make 10K or 1 million, this formula applies to everyone wherein we can adopt the money management rules of the top 1% via the 25-65-10 rule. The first 25% is all about you. Dedicate about 5% of this amount towards building a 6-month emergency fund for yourself. This is to be applied in case you lose your job, if there are any emergency medical expenses, your car needs repairs, or you experience any kind of equipment failure, such as you need to replace your laptop or your phone as such. Once you've accumulated 6 months of emergency fund, you can reallocate this 5% into the remaining 20%, which is you paying yourself for your future through investing. Now, the top 1% are extremely smart at this. They know how to either not pay taxes or pay a reduced amount of tax. Of course, they have access to the best tax lawyers and best accountants across the world, but you can do this at your level as well. And there are really two ways to do this. The first one is by investing into retirement savings plan, which is typically the RRSP in Canada or 401k in the US. A good thing to go with this is many employers offer either contribution matches or percentage matches up to a certain limit, which means you contribute a certain set of money and they add some money on top of it, so you have a larger accumulation of investment going in. Also, the best part about these retirement accounts is that your money is deducted in a pre-tax level from your paycheck. So your amount of pay reduces, and which means you incur a lower tax. While you don't pay any taxes on these accumulations and any of the profits that you attain through this, you eventually end up paying taxes on this when you withdraw all of this investment upon retirement. The second category is your tax-free account, which will be a TFSA in Canada or a Roth IRA in the US. In terms of how this is different from the retirement savings plan, is you are investing money into the tax-free account through the money that is already taxed from your paycheck. But any of the gains that you make on this amount is not taxed ever in your life. Now, when it comes to investments, I particularly am not a crypto guy because I don't understand it. But if you understand it, that is something that you can invest into. I am more of the stocks guy and I have a deeper understanding of the market and the stocks and I know how it runs. So that is where I invest my money. So accordingly, if you are somebody like me who likes to invest into stocks, depending on your level of knowledge and understanding, while at the same point of time what your risk tolerance is, you can either invest into individual stocks across both of these accounts or place a safer bet with index funds. Let's take for example two people, John and Jane. John started investing at 25 and contributed about $1,000 a year for 20 years until he turned 45, and then did nothing and allowed his money to grow for another 20 years until retirement at 65. Jane, on the other hand, starts at 45 and contributes $5,000 a year for the next 20 years until 65 is when she retires. As we can clearly see, John has more money at retirement than Jane does, even though he contributed only 1/5 of the amount of what Jane did. Hence, it is extremely important to start earlier on this journey, because the earlier that you invest, the more the amount of time that you give money to compound over time. The 65% goes for your living expenses, as in your rent, food, transportation, Wi-Fi, and cable, with your living expenses or your rent commanding a biggest percentage out of this, which has been an ongoing problem all across the globe since the pandemic. Now, this percentage can certainly be controlled and brought down. However, it's easier said than done, because the moment you get a raise or a bonus, suddenly the apartment that you're living in starts looking smaller. The car that you're driving is suddenly old, or any of your equipment requires an emergency upgrade. So it is very easy to creep into lifestyle inflation. The top 1% here are extremely smart, and that is why you see so many millionaires and billionaires moving from one country to the other, or the recent trend that you see wherein many of these are moving out of the state of California and New York into the states of Texas and Florida, where there's no state tax. The top 1% know that life without entertainment is nothing, and hence to support their lavish lifestyles, they allocate sufficient amount of money into their budget. Similarly, the 10% is for you to live your lavish lifestyle within your means. You can use it to buy clothes, to travel, or go to fancy restaurants or party. If you want to increase the amount of money allocated into the 10% budget, this video will help you become better than 90% of the people. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time.